The following is a presentation of the Matt Talk Podcast Network.
And welcome, wrestling fans, to the Ice Hour. This podcast is aimed at promoting the world of Division III college wrestling and is named for the late Hall of Fame coach Dave Eisenhower. Here we'll talk about topics and news that's relevant to those who compete for the love of the sport in Division III. The Ice Hour is sponsored by My House Sports Gear. Check out their line of wrestling gear and apparel at myhousesportsgear.com. Subscribe using your favorite podcasting app by going to matttalkonline.com/ice. Now up on the Ice Hour, we head up to the Mitten. Yeah, for those of you that don't know what the Mitten is, that is the state of Michigan. We're going to visit with Jeremiah Tobias, the head coach at Alma College in Alma, Michigan. They are the Scots. Good day, Scotty. Coach, welcome to the Ice Hour with my bad accent.
Well, thanks for having me.
Let's just talk a little bit about it. You're heading into your second year as the head coach of the program up there, a reinvigorated, a reinstated program, and we'll get to some of the reasons why afterwards. But let's just talk about what's it like to be a Division III head wrestling coach in this era of wrestling programs coming back to life, coming back from the dead, or brand new altogether.
I mean, fun, best way I can put it. I mean, I'm enjoying myself doing what I love to do. So I guess I wasn't in any other division, any other time period. So, and Division III for myself is relatively new. So, yeah, other than that.
So getting your feet wet with coaching, you've got Todd Hibbs, who had started that program, and a guy that was the voice of wrestling as a PA announcer. He'd been an administrator. He had, started the program at Olivet and kicked that off, and then moves up to Alma. What was it like to know that, okay, Todd is going to leave me a good situation to get into coaching with?
Well, it was great because I had a great mentor for 5 years that, helped me to know really what Division III was and I guess the ins and outs, what I need to do to be a successful coach, administrator, just the right type of kids to get in and how to do, I guess the periodization of throughout season and everything with Division III. So it was great to have him as a mentor, and yet still today. So it's been a good experience.
To understand your coaching journey, we need to go back to high school and understand your wrestling journey. You were a 4-time state champion in Michigan and a good wrestling state, good tradition, and you ended up wrestling at the University of Michigan. What was that experience like coming out of high school? Was it what you expected, and how did wrestling at the Division I level either suit you or change your idea on what wrestling coaching is all about?
Was it what I expected? I knew it was going to be hard, but it was really an eye-opener. It was a huge jump. You're wrestling. For me in high school, I was, there wasn't a lot of kids on my team. So I traveled all over the place to wrestle against, good competition to get some good practices. And then with the team that we had, the lineup was solid all the way through. I had high expectations for myself, which I'm pretty sure most, high caliber wrestlers do. But it was just one of those I worked as hard as I could to achieve my goals. And, at a young age, I knew I wanted to coach. So that was kind of where the transition happened, in college is, you go on the road, you're with other guys traveling, going to open tournaments or whatever tournaments you're going to, and you're just coaching everybody. And you just kind of, I guess, fall in love with the coaching aspect as much as the competition aspect.
We look at how the credentialed athletes come through into the big programs, and a lot of the talk is why is this guy not being able to succeed? And we're talking about the starters here, and you were battling for a starting position throughout your career. Ultimately, though, it seems like people don't talk about the role players in the room or the guys that aren't starting. What was that like for you to be in that situation? Be like, man, I was a man in high school, and I'm just scrapping it out here, trying to find some crumbs of a starting position.
I guess frustrating is the only word that you can come up with. You're doing everything that they're doing, and you lose by a point or 2 points here, and it's really frustrating of why you can't get over that little hump or get over the hurdle. Some guys transfer, some guys stay, but really is the depth of the room is just it makes the team better. Because my senior year we ended up taking second, so I can't I can't complain about my experience and really the level of development that I got throughout my college career.
We're going to be talking about kids that transfer into Division III here in a moment, but it's kind of weird. You decide to say, you know what, I'm sticking it out. Why did you stick it out instead of, you know, the opportunities like, for example, Division III Presents? There are going to be kids that are coming from D1 to D3 to give them an opportunity. You're going to be pitching that same thing, even though you stayed put at a D1 the whole time.
Yep. I guess some of it had to do with, you know, my upbringing and, you know, my dad and grandfather instilled in me, you know, you say you're going to do something, you follow through with it. Other parts were, you know, I really thought that I could break through the lineup and get that, you know, get the spot. I mean, I loved wrestling at Michigan, so it was a great experience. I learned a lot of things that, you know, they've helped me in my coaching career, and, you know, definitely have helped me in life. So, you know, there's pros and cons of the decisions we make, but you just roll with the punches, and that's where you end up. So.
You say you knew during your college career that you wanted to be a coach, and right off the bat, you end up getting coaching positions, and then, you know, before settling into the head coach at Alma. But what was it about that first coaching position? You remember the first application and why you wanted to go coach there?
When I started, or I guess right out of college, I was a volunteer coach for Wyoming, and really it was at nationals and just helping the kids, trying to accomplish their goals. And, you know, the first guy I wrestled, we, you know, lost in overtime, and it was one of those matches where you were just involved in it as much as they are. And, you know, I guess it's the roller coaster that you go through as a coach. You know, you got your highs and lows, and I just loved it. You know, you cherish the highs, but, you know, you kind of cherish the lows too, because you learn a lot from it. So I guess the whole aspect of the training and the cycle things and the relationships that you build with the guys throughout the course of really a season. And then over the course of time, you're just expanding your network of connections and the people that you know. And I just love it. You know, I wouldn't want to be doing anything else.
So when you were at Wyoming, that was the Steve Suter era, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah, so there was a program that had some decent tradition. You were seeing a lot of success with it with Mark Branch now, but you go from a Big Ten program to a program that was, for lack of they're a big school in terms of, you know, how you look at the University of Wyoming. It's the largest school in the state, but you know, it's treated as a mid-major in some respects with all sports. How did you take the success that you understood at a power program, a Big Ten school like Michigan, and bring it to Wyoming? I mean, how much of a learning experience was that for you?
It was definitely a learning curve for me. You know, you go where you've got a ton of kids in the room that their goals are to be national champion, you know, All-American, to, you know, guys that want the same goals, but they're not putting the time in, the energy and the effort in to be, you know, the best of the best. And it was just a whole different level, you know, and all levels of college, you know, you see that. So it was just different. I guess I just tried to instill what I learned at Michigan in the guys that I was working with there, and try and get them, you know, to accomplish their personal goals and to push them to achieve as much as their maximum potential.
Early in your career, I'm assuming there's going to be a little pushback with kids to be like, well, who are you? You didn't do this. I mean, how do you respond to that type of maybe snarkiness from athletes who believe that their coaches are usually should be All-Americans or something like that as far as their competitive careers go?
Well, as a coach, I mean, I just want the best for them, and that's kind of how I approach it. That, you know, I can't do things for them, but I'm going to do what it takes to help them get to accomplish their goals. And I realize I don't have the credentials, but I know what I'm doing, and I really want to see the best for them. So, and most of the kids, they haven't accomplished their goals either. So I guess that's the best part, that you know, the angle that you can take with them.
Now, the opportunity to come east at the relatively, at that time, new program at Belmont Abbey, Coach Kenny Caudell, been there a long time. What, you know, you go from like the super cold winters of Wyoming to the humidity of North Carolina. I mean, let's talk about that change and what the world of Division II meant for your learning experience.
Oh, well, going from the 40-mile-an-hour winds in Wyoming to the pollen-infested floor or ground of North Carolina, I enjoyed it. There's something about Wyoming that's amazing. But I guess my fiance at the time, now my wife, she said there was no way she was staying any longer, so we definitely moved. But North Carolina was amazing. I learned a lot. When I was at Belmont Abbey, I had more of a hands-on, I guess, position when I was at Belmont Abbey, with the recruiting and the practice structure, everything that we did, I was involved with. Where when I was at Wyoming, I was strictly working out with middleweights, getting them ready for nationals. So I learned a ton when I was there at Belmont, and then I guess really how to recruit, what I need to do to network, not only the program, but myself. And, man, it was a great experience. So, although I did not like living back in the dorms again, but that's just another story in itself.
Yeah, the only time I stay in dorms are at junior nationals in Fargo, where I actually opt to stay in Pavic Hall because I don't care if it might have some. It doesn't have air conditioning; it just has air blowing that might be 5 degrees cooler than what it is. But dorm life at 20 years out of in my case 15 years out of college, I'm still used to it. Now, when we go to the world of Division II wrestling, you'd been a D1 athlete, you'd coached at a Division I school at Wyoming. Now you're entering the sub D1s. You're getting to the programs that don't get the exposure. What was it like realizing that? Okay, I was at a Big Ten school. Okay, now at Wyoming you got financial support. Then you go to a Division II school outside of Charlotte, and it's like, how do you compare the experiences? And what was the most eye-opening experience about Division II wrestling or non D1 wrestling?
Well, I guess getting into the more administrative side of things, it was really the business side of what Division II and really Division I was about, where I'd never had the experience before. It's a numbers game and it's a quality game. There's a high level, but is it Big Ten? No. Is it your high level D1? No. You have a lot of guys that they're really good wrestlers, but they're not on that next level. So you're just kind of dealing with them, and some of the issues that you deal with is more mental issues, and or I guess I don't want to say entitlement, because they want a state title. They feel that they're entitled to scholarship, or that they've already know everything, and I guess it's just a different level. You'll learn a lot trying to deal with kids and get them to reach their maximum potential, but it's just another level, and it was the experience. It's just another experience for myself, I guess the best way to put it.
Talk about the experience when you go even further east to the edge of the continent, to Wilmington in the Port City Wrestling Club.
That was awesome. I'm on the beach. It was awesome. With that, it was a whole nother lower level, working with high school kids and youth kids. I had the opportunity to be a personal coach for a high school kid and start a program up there. It was, I guess, seeing a whole nother level of society, I guess, in itself. But I guess starting something up from, nothing, I guess, is what I learned is how to market, promote yourself in a totally new area. That wrestling wasn't strong, that going to the beach and surfing was what kids wanted to do. So I don't blame them, because the surf is amazing. But trying to get guys in the room and work out when it's 100 degrees out, it's a different atmosphere. But I mean, like I said, it was another experience. Learned a whole lot about administrating and trying to put camps and clinics together in an area where you only had 180 degrees to work with, opposed to a full 360 degree radius to work with. So it was just another experience, and networking and getting to know high school coaches on a different level, because you're actually working with high school coaches opposed to college coaches. So it was a fun experience, and really glad that I jumped on the opportunity to get to go to Wilmington and I guess network with a lot of people out there.
One thing I'm curious about, when it comes to that area. That's where Michael Jordan came from at Laney High School. It's a basketball town. It's got a Division I school, UNC Wilmington, but it doesn't have a wrestling program. How do you try to expose the sport of wrestling and college wrestling to kids who maybe not even realize that they're 7, 8, they're 10, 12? I mean, there's a lot of college wrestling programs within the state of North Carolina.
There is a lot of wrestling programs in North Carolina, and it's just trying to get into the school systems and branching out. And now that social media has taken off, it does a lot of it helps out a lot to try and get to that generation, this generation, and try and get kids in the room. It's just talking to them, trying to get them that it's just another avenue for them to build character and put another notch of things that they've done in their life, what they want to accomplish. But it was really hard. It is a basketball town. It is a surfing town. So getting wrestling, because I know like Laney was good back in the day. The whole coast, there's several programs that have been extremely good, and they go. I guess it's like waves, just like some other programs. They have great years, and then they have some time where they're not doing as well. So just educating them on what wrestling can do for them and the families and the community.
Now, the opportunity to go back home, this is something that a lot of people talk about when they take jobs. It's like, oh, yeah, well, I moved back to Minnesota because my wife was from here, and with the opportunity to do this, you typically kind of, okay, happy wife, happy life. And, well, first of all, is your wife a Michigan native? Okay, so check the box there. Secondarily, we're talking about, 2 hours from where you grew up, an opportunity with a new program. What was it like applying for that position? With Todd Hibbs kind of taking a brand new program that had been there before, and it's reinstated.
Well, actually, my wife and I, we moved back a year before I actually got the job at Alma. My wife's, my father-in-law, he was having some health issues, and we decided to move back and see if we could help out as much as we could. So I was back in Michigan for a year doing private sessions and being like a local area guy, running around doing some practices and hanging out with my father-in-law. But really, Coach Hibbs actually sought me out, and we went through probably about a month and a half interview process. I was right around the end of the season because Alma was reinstated in February, and it's right around the time that he was hired on. And we started talking right around there, and I didn't get the job until May, 1st of May. So it was a cool experience, I guess, getting the interview process and knowing that I would be a part of helping build a program, and I get it reinstated and bringing guys in to see what we could do and what we could accomplish.
What was your knowledge of Division III wrestling prior to taking this coaching job?
I had none. I think I wrestled 1 or 2 Division III kids when I was at Michigan, but other than that, I knew that it existed, but that's about it. I must say that I was fairly uneducated on the levels of wrestling that there was when I was coming out of high school, because I think I would have done a better job of researching what was out there and available.
Yeah, and as far as the growth goes, what's it like before you get into the Division III angle and what you've learned about it? We've seen programs now added at Adrian, both men's and women's. Cleary's adding a program. Davenport's added a program. Junior colleges like Henry Ford have added. Mott is well on their way. What is it? S4, St. Clair County Community College. We got Olivet. You got new programs that have just blown up in the last 10 years. So the landscape of Michigan is giving athletes more opportunities. And how much are you as a coach now jumping on those high school kids to be like, okay, yeah, we've got Eastern, we got Michigan State, we got the University of Michigan, but you got a lot more options here in the state now.
Yep, and that's what it is. There's a lot of options for kids, and I think it goes back to educating actually the high school coaches about the opportunities for these kids out there. And it's across the country. You've got your good high school coaches, and you see that with the great programs, and then you got your mediocre programs with okay coaches that they really don't know what's out there. And I think just educating them on the programs that are out there and what they can offer, and I guess what the standards are for those programs for the kids to come through to get to go into those programs and wrestle with those programs. And I guess the underlining behind it all, it's just it's a college degree. You're looking to get a great education at the college level, and you have an opportunity to wrestle while you're there. So I guess that's the angle that I take with a lot of coaches. Some coaches, they don't even know that they're coaching here in Michigan, that don't even know about Alma College, and it's just trying to educate them. And that's why we go out to as many camps as we can, try and talk to kids, promote the program.
And just to make sure that Kevin Claunch at Blood Round doesn't get pissy with me because I didn't mention Central Michigan, that was not intentional. Sorry, I blanked on the other Division I school at the moment. I'm talking about Division III. I'm not talking about Central Michigan at the moment. But when we talk about the growth of wrestling there in Michigan, we also have to look down south because it's directly tied to the growth of wrestling in the state of Arkansas, where a guy named Greg Hatcher was recently inducted to the National Wrestling Hall of Fame this year for the Order of Merit. This guy started over 50 high school programs in Arkansas where he lives. He is an Alma grad, and he is a guy that was responsible in part for bringing the program back there. You were down there in Stillwater, with the part of his crew. And what was it like, one, to see an Alma grad go in, knowing that you're the head of that program and knowing the impact that Greg Hatcher has had, not just on Alma College, but his wrestling as a whole?
Well, I guess watching the whole experience was amazing. Going to the National Wrestling Hall of Fame and, watching, being able to be there while Greg Hatcher was going into the Hall of Fame was amazing. And then being there on itself was an amazing experience for myself because I'd never gone. But Greg has done a lot, and just listen to Pat Smith, get up and talk to him about the impact that he's really made and getting to talk to some of the people around Greg and really how he's networked out to the state of Arkansas. And really this last year, we went down and wrestled down at the Hatcher Duels. And we got to talk to several people that are associated with Greg and what he's done. It's not just about wrestling for him. It's about helping people and really building relationships with people and helping people out to accomplish their goals. And it's just amazing. He truly is a person who wants to help people. And we are very fortunate that he's an alum of Alma and he helps our program out and the college out itself, but yet he's associated with wrestling and he's helping wrestling out on so many different levels, whether it's at the youth level, the high school, the college. And I mean, I'm pretty sure he's helping on the national level as well. So it's just really awesome to be able to have somebody, in your social network that really cares about the sport and people as much as Greg does.
When you have a guy like that that's part of the program and you get, you go into the job, you're the boss, you're the guy. It's not Todd anymore. It's not the seasoned administrator. It's the young guy in his first head coaching job. Is it kind of intimidating to have conversations with a guy like Hatcher after that type of moment?
Just a little bit. Once you get to know him, though, he's an awesome guy. He's a down-to-earth guy, and he just wants to talk to you and help you accomplish things. He listens, gives input. You talk to him about what's going on and where the program is going and what you're trying to do. And he tries to give you help and advice on what he thinks will help you be more successful. Or he'll recommend people to talk to. I know last year he told me to come down and I had many conversations with Pat Smith. It was awesome. So he really is trying to help people, further themselves in their career and in life. And it's like I said, it's great to have him within our social network and really as a friend that I can call and ask questions about anything business or how to improve a certain aspect of my life.
Well, we talked about your background. We talked about the background of the program, but let's talk about what it is about Alma College that makes it the right fit for you as a coach and what makes it real easy for you to say, you know what, this is the place for you, Michigan high school state place winner, who wants bigger things to come and wrestle for.
Really, I mean, it's a unique university that, you're dealing with higher level kids. Really, when I went to Michigan, I went there because it was a whole nother level. You're dealing with a different mentally focused person, I guess is the best way I can say it, that you're looking to achieve excellence. And that's kind of how I look at Alma, is that, in our mission statement, it's talking about thinking critically and, trying to put yourself in a better position. And really that's what we're looking for. We're looking for young men that really want to think outside the box and excel, be entrepreneurs, businessmen, doctors, that they've pushed themselves in high school, and they're going to do the same thing. I mean, you're just looking to get that right fit kid for Alma College.
And a couple things that are also unique is you've got the whole Scots thing, and these sometimes you guys have slick singlets, and sometimes you go with that hideous looks like a kilt thing. Okay, who makes those decisions, and are you the man that needs to answer that question?
Yeah, I've been the one that's come up with the ideas. Some of the ideas we've had that guys have given us, we've kind of kiboshed, and we try and change it up every couple of years. And whatever we throw out there, it looks halfway decent. Guys like it, they don't like it, and we change it up. So, but I like the kilt look.
I'm kind of indifferent on the kilt look, to be quite honest with you. I know that there's a battle between the schools that have. I know that like there's another Scots. There's several Scots, as we know. We got Edinburgh, but we also got Ohio Valley, which is in West Virginia, and you also got the Knights at St. Andrews that are an NAIA school in North Carolina. They also have the kilt-style singlet, too. So you're not alone in terms of the plaid combinations that you can make. But as we get to the world of Division III wrestling, and we talk and get rid of the superficial stuff like the funny singlets, which I love talking about. But when you said it was a different level than what you had understood, and you had really limited knowledge of the division, what have you learned in the several years that you've been there about the type of athlete, the type of educational system, the type of kid that wants to go Division III because wrestling is a big part of their life, but it's not their life?
That's really what it is. You're dealing with kids that they know that they're not going to be on a world team, and some of them, they know that they're not a national champion, but they want to be a part of a program where they're accepted and they get a chance to wrestle and compete, and put it on the line for another 4 years. It's really the family atmosphere of things. And really with Alma, that's really the culture that we've really tried to build, is that we're looking to bring in guys that they want to be doctors and lawyers and I guess businessmen, and they have a chance to wrestle and try and achieve their goals. We're going to try and do everything we can to get them that mat time and to build them up, to develop them, I guess the best way to say it. And, most of the time we're looking at guys that they've gone through their growth spurt in high school, but once they get to college, you see that that they're going to hit another growth spurt where they're going to become men. And that's really what happens. The biggest thing that you deal with, I feel like, in college or Division III is the mental aspect of it. Some guys, they haven't quite figured out how to mentally push themselves to be great. They're good, but they haven't accomplished that athletic, I guess the best way to say it, greatness. So they're smart kids that you're dealing with, and they just kind of overanalyze things sometimes, but that's really what we're looking for.
Another thing I've loved about Division III wrestling is the Division III championships and the excitement that comes in, especially when you go out into the upper Midwest, where you've got the Iowa Conference fans coming down, the Augsburg fans, and you've got, Wabash has brought a good group out from Indiana. Messiah starting to really make a run from out east, but you've got these fan bases that they seem more proactive in their cheering than, the Division I Nationals, where it's more reactive, where they cheer a good takedown after it happens. Whereas at Division III, you've got the chance when the kids step on the mat. It's a whole different mindset. What was your experience the first time you actually got to witness a Division III championship firsthand?
Yeah, just like you said, I mean, it's more, the guys are just cheering you on. They're cheering their teammate on because they're going out to compete, and it's not a cheer because you won or that you hit a great move. The guys are cheering all the time. They're just cheering their buddies on, their friends on, their family on, whatever it is. And not only that, but you get other teams that cheer on guys because of the character of person they are and how they're competing. And that was the aspect for me that was amazing. Is it's almost like it is like a step up from high school. Is that high school teams, they cheer everybody on because they're part of the family, part of the program, and you have that same aspect at Division III. And that part was, for me, that was really cool to see. And it's, like I said, that's for our program, it's really trying to build that fan base up and get it so that we have the fan base, like you said, like Wabash and, Wartburg and Messiah and Luther. And that's really what we're looking to do over the next few years. We've started it already, and and just continue to build on that, and hopefully we can make a run for bigger and better hardware.
One thing that often happens when you have an athlete in Division III, and I think Riley Lefevre at Wabash has had a little bit of this, is, well, why are they in Division III? Or, well, they didn't do this against D1, blah, blah, blah. You've wrestled D1, and then you're coaching Division III. Do you think that maybe the wrestling community should just be like, hey, we're Division III, we know what we are, stop comparing us to everybody else?
Yeah, I mean, it's wrestling. For number one, it's wrestling, and you're going out there shaking the guy's hand, and may the best man win. And I guess number two is you're fighting for an NCAA title. It's not whether you're a Division I, a Division II. You're fighting for that NCAA title. And really, the bigger picture, you graduate and you have a job, you've got the title. Nobody cares if you're a D1 or a D3 national champion. They give you props because you put your toe on the line and you battled and you've become successful. And that's really the bigger picture of things.
Well, is it the only time people, and I get 2 or 3 calls a week trying to validate if somebody says, oh, yeah, I met this guy, says he was an All-American somewhere. And, if it's the NCAA, NAI, or JUCO, and they're like, yeah, they were that, I mean, I'm not going to shoot them down, but the only people who seem to really care about what division are wrestling people as a whole. So,
Yep.
One of those things.
And for it is, I guess, looking at it that way, it's kind of, I don't want to say it's sad, but it's like we should just be promoting wrestling in general. Who cares what level they're at? Are they successful? Are they getting the guidance they need to be successful, on the mat, in the classroom, and in life?
We'll talk with Jeremiah Tobias, the head wrestling coach for the Scots of Alma College. Al like Al Bundy, not Al. I'm doing all these mouth exercises so I can be ready when your guys take to the mats at D3s next year in Cleveland. So Alma, got it? Alma. Like, I don't have an aunt named that, but if I did, I would probably be saying it wrong because I'm thinking wrestling. But Jeremiah, any final words that you wanted to pitch about the program, what you have learned as a coach, things that make Division III great? You got a forum here to talk about things on the Ice Hour to kind of say, hey, D3, we love it. Because we do. That's what the show's here for.
Just that. Yeah, I mean, just that. I appreciate, you getting in touch with me to talk about the program. I mean, we're doing our best to build the program up, get the right kids in to fit Alma, and to get into the national tournament. Coming from Division I wrestling and D1 program, you're wrestling, you're competing for a title, you're getting a great education. I love going to the coaches convention, getting to know the coaches, and even throughout the season. And it really, it's a network and a family that, that I guess cheers each other on. It's awesome. Love Division III, love working for Alma College, love working with the guys that we have within our program and trying to bring in the right guys that fit Alma and then our program as well.
And one thing I also want to pitch before we go is a lot of wrestlers want to be coaches and teachers, and they want to be college coaches. And you don't see a large portion of Division III coaches come from Division I. You have a good number. I mean, Eric Juergens just left Augustana, but John Ostendorp is at Co. There's a number of them out there. What is one thing that you could tell maybe a guy like yourself that didn't see the success they wanted in college but wants to coach, or somebody that was an All-American, maybe a teammate of yours that's like, yeah, I want to be a coach? What is the pitch for you to say, hey, you really need to look at the opportunities that Division III provides?
I mean, that's really it. It's like you just don't set yourself up. Don't put a maximum on what you can accomplish, I guess. It's like, don't look at the highest level. Look at all levels. I mean, even if you're coaching at a high school level, take it and run with it and try and do your best. And who knows, an opportunity may come up where you can be a coach at a Division III program, a local one, or you have to move your family. But I mean, really, if you want to be a coach, whether you're Division I, Division III, it doesn't matter. You're still coaching. You're impacting the lives of young athletes, and that's really what it's about.
Yeah, you've been a coach at the Division I, Division II, and Division III level, so you got all NCAA levels checked off your list.
Yep. Hopefully I don't go anywhere after this. I like where I'm at. I'd like to stay. So.
All right. Again, Jeremiah Tobias, thanks for coming on. You can check out the Scots of Alma College at almascots.com. Check out the schedules. All sorts of stuff coming around the state of Michigan this year, and we'll see you down the line, maybe or maybe not with a kilt singlet.
All right. Thanks a lot, Jason.
This show is part of the Matt Talk Podcast Network. For more wrestling podcasts, head over to MattTalkOnline.com.